Hey guys, in this video, we're going to be checking out the top 5 best Nikon Z wide-angle lenses that are available on the market for their true quality. I put this list together based on my personal experience and hours of research. I've ranked them by popularity, quality, price, durability, user reviews, and more. If you'd like more details or want to see the latest prices, be sure to check the description below. And don't forget to subscribe for more reviews. Alright, let's get started with the video! Starting at number 5, we have the Nikkor Z 14-30mm F4S Nikon Z6. Working at a wide-angle nets images with a grand scale, you'll see more of the world in each frame for landscapes, architectural work, and group shots. Many can also focus very near for dramatic close-ups. Nikon has released a trio of wide zooms, the 14-30mm f4S, 14-24mm f2.8S, and 17-28mm f2.8, and the 20mm f1.8S prime for the Z system to date. Zooms are a bit more convenient, but the 20mm f1.8's bright aperture makes it an appealing choice for astrophotography, vlogging, and architectural interiors. It's not as wide as some others, though. Venus Optics sells a range of wide-angle lenses for the Z system, but they are manual focus only. Its Laowa 15mm f2.0D is a native option for photographers who want to go wide and bright. If you're looking for a lens with autofocus, reach for the FTZ adapter and the Sigma 40mm f1.8 DG HSM Art for Nikon SLRs. Wide zoom lenses cover a broader range of views but don't gather as much light. That's not a concern for many landscape photographers who enjoy using narrow apertures and neutral density filters for long exposure work. The Nikkor Z 14-24mm f2.8S balances its coverage range and f-stop. It's not as suited for night sky photography as an f1.8 or f2.0 prime, but at f2.8, it's still a solid fit for a good deal of indoor work. The 17-28mm f2.8 is an alternative if you want those attributes but can live without quite as wide an angle of view. The Z 14-30mm f4 is our favorite for the system because of its coverage range, picture quality, and reasonable price. Moving on, at number 4, we have the Nikkor Z 35mm f1.4. The Nikkor Z 35mm f1.4 $599.95 is an intriguing alternative to Nikon's other bright 35mm Z series, Prime. The Nikkor Z 35mm f1.8S $849.95. The 35mm f1.4 costs less than the 35mm f1.8S, includes weather protection for safe outdoor use, and gathers more light but is not part of Nikon's premium S line. There aren't too many corners cut though, as the 35mm f1.4 is sturdily constructed and delivers sharp results on the plane of focus. Its autofocus drive is slower than the Nikkor Z 35mm f1.8S, however, and its background blur rendering is closer to frenetic than buttery smooth, so images look like they were taken with an old-school lens rather than one made for 21st century digital cameras. Creators who embrace the vintage are sure to love this lens, and it's an excellent addition to the Nikkor Z library. The Nikkor Z 35mm f1.4 qualifies as a mid-size prime. It measures 3.5 by 2.9 inches, HD, weighs 14.6 ounces, and supports 62mm front filters. It balances well on both full-frame, FX cameras like the Z8 and the Z7, but may feel a little oversized on smaller APS-C DX entries like the Z30. The lens is not far off from the Z30 35mm f1.8S 3.4 by 2.9 inches, 13.1 ounces, 62mm filters. But if you are a fan of smaller primes, don't forget about svelte, budget-priced Nikkor Z for 40mm f2 2.8 by 1.8 inches, 6.0 ounces, 52mm filters. A lens that gathers about half the light as a 35mm f1.4 when used at its widest aperture, but also comes in at half the price at $299.95. The exterior barrel is mostly polycarbonate, though the front filter threads and bayonet mount are metal. The industrial design leans toward minimalism, and Nikon doesn't include any splashes of color. The silver chrome Nikkor logo is the only bit of bling to be found. The lens includes internal seals to prevent dust and splash ingress, so you can comfortably use it outdoors on a rainy day, a positive when you consider that Nikon includes weather protection in all of its full-frame Z cameras, even the entry-level Z5. The 35mm f1.8 S is a bit better protected, however, as it includes anti-smudge fluorine on its front and rear glass elements. You'll have to take a little extra care when cleaning water droplets or specks of dust from the 35mm f1.4. If you smudge the glass with a stray fingerprint, you'll want to grab a wet lens wipe to clear it away, whereas you can just use a microfiber cloth for lenses with a fluorine coat. At number 3, we have the Nikon Nikkor Z 400mm f4.5 VR S. Nikon's Nikkor Z 400mm f4.5 VR S $3,249.95 is a fantastic lens on several fronts. It's quite light, given its telephoto length and moderately bright aperture. It offers top-notch image quality, and it features a fully weather-protected barrel with plenty of controls. Casual photographers might balk at the price, but it costs far, far less than a true exotic like the $14,000 Nikkor 400mm f2.8 VR TCS. As a long, carry-friendly lens that won't break your back or budget, the 400mm f4.5 walks away with our Editor's Choice Award for Nikon creators. It doesn't have many peers for other systems, so it might even be a compelling enough reason for pros who adopt a full-frame Nikon Z camera. The Nikkor Z 400mm f4.5 VR S measures 9.2 by 4.1 inches. HD, weighs 2.7 pounds, and supports 9.5mm threaded filters. It's larger than most lenses I test, but downright small given its focal range and reasonably bright f4.5 aperture. It's a stop and a half dimmer than the aforementioned f2.8 VR TCS, but this trade-off might be worth it since that lens is 15 inches long and more than twice as heavy at 6.5 pounds. Nikon Z library has a few excellent lenses that sports and wildlife enthusiasts should consider alongside the 400mm f4.5. The Nikkor Z 100, 400mm f4.5 5.6 VR S. $2,699.95 zoom, for instance, costs less, but it's slightly dimmer, weighs half a pound more, and extends further than the 400mm prime at its long end. If you want a lens with an even tighter angle of view, the 600mm f6.3 VR S, $40,799.95, and the 800mm f6.3 VR S, $6,399.95 are similarly minded, relatively compact primes. Both the Nikkor Z 180 600mm f5.6 6.3 for $1,196.95, and the Tamron 150 500mm f5 7.1 $1,799 are also options if you want a longer focal length and prefer the convenience of a zoom. Nikon built the 400mm f4.5 for professional use, and that effort shines through. The barrel primarily uses high-quality polycarbonate materials to save on weight, but the rotating tripod collar, the removable foot, and the bayonet mount are all metal. Internal seals provide dust and splash protection, while the large front element features anti-smudge fluorine and Nikon's anti-reflective crystal coat. If you want to add a protective or a creative filter, prepare to spend big for a 95mm threaded option since the lens doesn't support drop-in rear filters. At number 2, we have the Nikon Nikkor Z 7200mm f2.8 VR S. Nikon's first built-for-mirrorless pro zoom lens, the Nikkor Z 70-100mm f2.8 VR S, $2,599.95 is an important one. A quality telezoom is an almost required tool for event photography and reportage. The Z 7-200mm delivers the quality pros want, stabilized optics, an all-weather build, and compatibility with teleconverters at a price that's in line with similar lenses for other systems. That's still substantial, especially for hobbyists, but it isn't avoidable for Z users, at least for now. We'll have to wait and see if Nikon releases a more affordable F4 edition, but it's not yet on the system roadmap. Telephoto lenses are almost always a bit bulkier than shorter zooms and prime lenses, and the Z 70-200mm is no exception at 8.7 by 3.5 inches, HD, and 3.0 pounds. Canon's RF70 200mm f2.8 is notably smaller, 5.8 by 3.5 inches, 2.6 pounds, but gets there by telescoping out when zooming. Canon's take is unique in the industry though. The Nikkor Z's internal zoom design is more common. It makes for a larger housing but cuts down on moving parts. Nikon does buck one trend in design. The 70R 200mm is finished in black rather than the gray or white you see with many bigger lenses. Canon and Sony use the lighter finish, one that promises to reflect sunlight to keep the optics cooler on sunny days. Is there a practical difference? Nikon has been using black barrels for its telephoto lenses for years with no ill effect, so it's not anything over which to fret. Construction is top-notch. The barrel is metal, and the lens includes internal seals to protect your camera system from dust and splashes. It ships with a soft zippered case, front and rear caps, and a reversible hood. The front element supports the 70 cm filter size and includes the standard anti-reflective, as well as fluorine anti-smudge protection. And finally, at number 1, we have the Nikon AFS Nikkor 7200mm f2.8 GED VR. The Nikon AFS Nikkor 7200mm f2.8 GED VR2 $2,399.95 is the company's pro-level telezoom lens. It covers a zoom range that's essential for wedding and event photographers and maintains a maximum f2.8 aperture through its entire zoom range. Add in vibration reduction, a sturdy build quality, and an integrated tripod collar, and you have a lens that pairs well with Nikon's full-frame DSLR camera lineup. It's not perfect, its close focus capability is a bit limited when compared with the competition, and there's some pincushion distortion when zoomed in. The Nikkor is a fantastic lens for Nikon shooters, but our editor's choice 72-200mm is still the Canon EF 7200mm f2.8L is at $2 $99 at Amazon, which is just a bit better. The Nikkor lens, $1,499.95 at Amazon, measures 8.1 by 3.4 inches HD, weighs 3.4 pounds, and supports 77mm front filters. Its metal barrel is cool to the touch, and there's a gasket around the lens mount to protect the lens and camera from the elements. Control switches include a focus mode, toggle, a focus limiter, a switch to turn vibration reduction on or off, and one to switch between normal and active VR. The latter is preferable when shooting from a moving vehicle. The zoom ring sits at the middle of the lens and is covered by textured rubber. The manual focus ring sits ahead of it and is also covered in textured rubber. Nikon includes a reversible lens hood with the lens. It has a push-button release catch that you'll need to hold down in order to unmount it, which makes it a bit more secure than hoods that attach via a simple bayonet only. There's also an integrated tripod collar. It's not removable, but it can be moved from portrait to landscape orientation via a large thumb screw. The removable tripod foot features 2 standard connection threads, so you have some flexibility in setting the center of gravity. It's removable via a thumb screw and push button mechanism, which makes it possible to quickly move from tripod to handheld shooting, even if you're using a head that lacks a quick release plate. Thanks for watching. That's all for now. I hope to see you in the next video. Until next time.